Liverpool's march towards the Premier League title continues without Xherdan Shaqiri. The Swiss playmaker was hailed as the bargain of the season after making a huge impact in the first half of the season, scoring 6 goals and making an impact, whether he's starting or it's from the bench. The high point came in early December, when Shaqiri emerged from the bench to score twice against Manchester United in a 3-1 victory at Anfield. The former Stoke man played just 19 minutes on the day, but his impact largely resulted in 3 valuable points being gained. Follow all the latest Liverpool news and transfer rumours here. Shaqiri scored 2 in a short period against Jose Mourinho's side, and then in the following match, he scored another versus Newcastle. The influence that the 27-year-old had on Jurgen Klopp's squad was undeniable, as he even managed to disrupt the dynamic of Liverpool's infamous front three. His offensive capability almost forced a formation change to occur, from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1, as a means of incorporating him alongside the likes of Mohamed Salah, Roberto, Firmino and Sadio, as well as allowing Fabinho to thrive. Since, though, Shaqiri seems to have effectively disappeared. He's yet to register a single goal or assist since facing Newcastle, and he's started just 3 times from a possible 15. That seems strange on the face of things, so let's delve a little deeper. After Newcastle, the Reds faced Arsenal at Anfield and Shaqiri started once more. He failed to contribute and then came out of the side for Manchester City away, which is understandable for defensive reasons. He then started the following match against Brighton, which is to be expected, but was then dropped versus Crystal Palace at Anfield, perhaps to manage their counter-attacking threat. Crucially though, Shaqiri was then reintroduced again, to face Leicester at home. The attacker played 67 minutes, Klopp's side drew 1-1, and the player hasn't started another match since. Up until that point, it appeared to be a case of Shaqiri being used purely to break down stubborn defensive opponents, as he was often benched when facing a team with credible attacking threats. Video loading video unavailable. Click to play. Tap to play. The video will start in 8. Cancel play now. After Leicester, though, that approach seems to have stopped. Shaqiri played 25 minutes away to West Ham and 21 minutes at Old Trafford, but other than that, he hasn't featured. In that period, Liverpool have faced the likes of Watford, Burnley, Everton and Fulham, opposing teams that Shaqiri had previously been featuring against, but that is no longer the case. And when Liverpool were desperately trying to find a winner against Tottenham on Sunday, Klopp brought on Divock Origi and Fabinho, leaving Shaqiri kicking his heels on the bench again. Why then has Klopp gradually developed a reluctance to use Shaqiri after his highly productive role as an impact player earlier in the season? Interestingly, the Leicester fixture occurred on the weekend that City lost 2-1 to Rafa Benitez's Newcastle, the 3rd league defeat in 7 for Pep Guardiola's record breakers. So after the 1-1 draw with Claude Puel's side, Liverpool had a 5-point lead, with a very realistic chance of driving towards their first league title win in 29 years. As a result, it's reasonable to suggest that with the business end of the season commencing, Shaqiri's inclusion was no longer deemed as a risk worth taking, considering his lack of defensive output. Liverpool reached a stage whereby the club had to manage and control pressure extremely carefully, with the awareness that any weakness would be immediately pounced on by the media and any opposing teams. Shaqiri's involvement, although it may bring attacking intent, also brings an element of chaos rather than control. In situations whereby Shaqiri may have been useful recently, Klopp has instead opted to stick, rather than to twist, as the team now appear to have something to lose if defeat occurs, compared to earlier in the season, when pressure was removed from proceedings. Also, when analysing his last 3 appearances, against Leicester as a starter, and as a substitute against United and West Ham, the Swiss talisman was nowhere near as effective as he was previously. There may be external factors, but in the 114 minutes accumulated in those 3 matches, Shaqiri didn't score, assist, shoot, or cross once, with a total of 1 dribble being a must. His expected assists, XHERE, which considers all the chances he provides for his teammates regardless of whether they were scored or not, also decreased. His XHERE average per 90 minutes for the season is 0.19, whereas in the 118 minutes against the 3 aforementioned opponents, his total was 0.09. Ultimately, Shaqiri's instant, memorable impacts from earlier in the season gradually seemed to diminish slightly over the course of 3 short appearances. Unfortunately for him, that also coincided with Liverpool and Klopp having to ensure that 0 setbacks occur, even to the extent that going a goal down would be perceived as problematic. As a means of keeping control, managing pressure and gradually accumulating points in a steady, rather than chaotic manner, Shaqiri's inclusion appears to have been deemed as too risky for this defining period.